What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Modern Day Musing. My name is Tom, and if you're new to the channel, it is all about emphasizing the need we now have in the modern day for deep reflection to better understand ourselves and the complex world around us. And today's video is a very important part of doing this, and it's a really emotional endeavor, but it's something that we all should do. And warning, I'm going to be this whole video is centered around appreciating my parents. So if you don't want to hear all that, I don't blame you. I want to just release it and actually show them this. And it's a way for me to really start kind of improving this relationship that I think when you're young, you kind of, since you're trying to become your own person, you might tarnish a bit because you're in your zone and not really aware of all that they're doing for you. Or whatever it might be, you're too self-centered, to be quite frank. So yeah, you don't have to watch all of that. I don't blame you. It's not your parents. Why would you? So please though, just fast forward to, if you don't want to watch all that, just fast forward to the last like 5 minutes of the video where I want to just say my final thoughts, final message about this whole endeavor and why I think it's so important. So I hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, let's get right into it. So here it goes. I'm gonna try and do my best to start this appreciation endeavor, and why not start it with two of the most important people in anyone's lives, or it should be this way anyways, and that is your parents. So without further ado, I mean, in my case, and in anyone's case, there's just the broad concept of being a parent where you as a child can't really ever repay them for what they've done. And that is giving you life and making sure that you actually live. They keep you alive for pretty much, I mean, even now they're still partially responsible for me being able to thrive and survive, right? But especially when you're a child, I mean, most obviously with your mother, literally you inhabit her for 9 months and then she gives birth. And she takes care of you along with your dad very, very intimately for that stage where you're just not even really conscious until you become a bit more conscious and you're a toddler, and then you begin to be a little child, and then it gets more specific to each individual with how and what they have to be thankful for and appreciate when it comes to their parents. But just for that first reason alone of giving life, that taking care of me in that helpless state, I mean, that alone you can't repay them for, and you are totally should always be thankful of and appreciate the fact that they sacrificed and spent those late nights to go and stop you when you were crying, to feed you, to hold you and make sure you felt safe, whatever it was. That alone right there, I mean, you can't even probably appreciate it totally because, again, you weren't really conscious for it and you weren't doing it. So I guess I won't totally appreciate it until or if I have kids. But as of right now, I can still kind of appreciate the idea and how stressful and challenging that must have been. But also probably very amazing too, because that's your little baby. But still, just right from there, again, totally indebted to them for that, and it's why you owe it to take care of them when they are older. But then moving forward to the more specific time period where they would instill the values in me, make sure I still had the food on the table, all of that, and then also make sure I had outlets, I had experiences, and that for them was sports, soccer and hockey, and that allowed me to experience the companionship and exhilaration that comes with sports and learn sort of how to interact with other people. And then the sacrifice again there where they had to allocate the funds, make sure there was enough funds to do that, and the time they had to, especially my mom in this case because my dad was working, she had to make the time always to get me to practice, to the games, and then both of them tried to show up to as many games as possible. And they had a very intimate and hands-on sporting experience with me, because they weren't just dropping me off and then leaving or anything. They were there and watching as many games as possible, talking to me after about it. And for that, I'm very appreciative of, because it formed so many great memories that I had as a child, and really would form me. And also, again, as I talked about the values, not only would they instill certain things about how to treat people, having manners, but they would act them out themselves. So I couldn't really, you see my parents doing these selfless acts, you see them trying to carry themselves with a certain level of class, of just being good people, which is sounds vague, but you know it when you see it. They aren't selfish. They're almost too selfless at times. Sometimes you just, I wish they would do more for themselves. I would like to help with that. That's a goal of mine eventually. But yeah, so the upbringing I got, I can't complain whatsoever. Of course, it's never going to be perfect, because they have their own lives and their own problems, and they are themselves flawed humans, just as we all are. So you can't really get too fixated on that stuff, even though you might have in the moment. But as you age, you just appreciate how much they had to deal with. And dealing with you as a person, as a young adult in particular, or a teenager, is certainly some crazy task, very complicated. I mean, the arguments, and that probably they wouldn't see a point in, but I was just upset for whatever reason. I mean, the list goes on and on. You can't even put into words really how much they've done for you once you start to think about it. Okay, and now I've talked about my parents as a unit, a couple, which is great, but I also want to separate and appreciate them individually, and think about what they have done and what I'm thankful for about each of them. So first and foremost, I'll talk about my dad and what I appreciate about him. First of all, pretty funny guy, definitely says a lot of funny stuff, has a lot of insight, a lot of practical knowledge. I mean, the solutions that he can come up with in practical situations, especially with tools, is very valuable, and he's imparted a lot of wisdom on me, and I need to be more cognizant, more aware of the fact that I have such an asset in him, knowledge-wise. He knows a lot about a lot of things, and that's having a dad like that is amazing. It helps you really become a better person, a man, an adult, because he can give you the wisdom and show you how to do things that will solve real world problems and allow you to be more independent and less reliant on others to solve problems, which is something that's very valuable and can save you a lot of money. He's also someone who I can definitely talk to about anything. He doesn't think something's off limits, anything we can talk about, and he gave me a very realistic talk about growing up, about things like life, and that it's not always going to be easy, about things like sexuality and how that's natural, about things like how to treat people. The very wise things. He's endured a lot of things in his life, and it shows in a good way, for sure. And I don't really, honestly, sometimes I don't think I even respect him enough to show him that. I'm too joking with him, or the other things in our lives, it kind of makes it seem as though I don't respect him sometimes, and that's my fault for sure. I need to stop that and make him realize that I do indeed appreciate him and think he is so knowledgeable and such a good person. I mean, such a selfless guy. I can remember vividly a time where there's a storm, and for some reason I believe there's a car accident, or no, it was rather a telephone pole I think had fallen, and he was first guy outside. He was just okay, what's wrong? Okay, we'll direct traffic until the police, ambulance, whatever had to come are here. He's always offering himself to help others, and he was in the field of helping people with mental illnesses in a home. He did that for a while, and yeah, he's just a very selfless guy. I mean, my mom remembers a time when they were going on a date, and he stopped, and they were walking. He saw another girl, and my mom didn't know the girl, and he stopped and he ran up to her, and my mom at first was a little taken back and mad, like, why we're on a date? Why are you talking to another girl? And it was because it was actually my aunt who had schizophrenia, and he was just making sure she was okay. And yeah, just things like that. And how he helped my grandma when she was aging. Not his mom, my mom's mom, how he helped her deal with aging and was always there to make sure she got out frequently and was shown as good a time as possible in the situation. You know, you can't exactly go on some big adventure when you're that age, but what relative to where she was in her stage of life, making sure she was having a good time. And then what he's done for me, taking me fishing and outdoors, all these things he's taught me, and all the fun and laughs we've had. I am so thankful and appreciative of that, and hope to experience more and give him more back. So yeah, I'd really like to end on that note regarding my dad, and now my mom. Let's get into that discussion. Alright, moving on. Mom. Why I appreciate my mom. As I said earlier in the video, I mean, the fact that you birthed me, you took care of me so well and so lovingly for so many years, and still do, but I mean in that state where if I was sick, you would have everything covered to make sure I would heal as fast as possible. Taking me to hockey, making sure I was having, you know, not everything I wanted, but the right things, spending money in the right places, getting those experiences, and your bubbly personality in the sense that you're always so nice to people. You're usually, I mean, I hate using always, but how you're so nice to people so consistently, and you are so genuine, you're not fake, you don't play the politics and all that, you are real, you stick to your morals, you realize what you like and don't like, and you let that guide your life, which a lot of people don't. You realize you didn't want the big stressful job, you took a good job where you do great work each and every day, and you are dedicated to it, and you are efficient at it. You don't look for the easy way out. You have a standard that is much higher than most people, and you hold me to that standard too, which has helped me. And how you realized long ago that being you doesn't mean you have to be like everything else. You don't have to be a typical woman with all the jewelry. You'd rather have a better overall financial standing. You're very, very smart with your money. You're very smart in general. And the selflessness, again, both you and Dad, your selflessness, how you have constantly taken care of your mother, your other family, me, your co-workers, your friends. It's just something you don't see so consistently from people, and so without really doing it for anything in return, just because you know it's the right thing to do, and your loyalty to those people and to your virtues and the way you want to live is so admirable and has benefited me in so many ways, the way you raised me. And now how you've also taught me with how I should be working towards things and what my priorities should be, and not getting caught up in the glamour or the material, that stuff. It's so valuable, and the fact that I had you also as that female figure really has helped me with girls in general, I believe, because it is such a high standard, and that's probably why I'm so picky. Because I have this high standard of what a woman should be like. And that's how you base the non-physical things, like what you want out of a romantic partner. And yeah, I just don't appreciate you enough, and I want to change that. And just thinking about everything, how consistent you've been with putting me ahead of yourself is astonishing, and I could never repay you for that. So thank you, and definitely a lot for me to work on with giving back and showing you what I'm saying. But it starts with this, and I hope you have a great birthday, and yeah, just thank you. Okay, so if you fast forwarded, that's okay. I don't blame you. It was a very long, lengthy, emotional process that I just it went into. Anyways, the message that I want you guys to have is that first and foremost, your parents, if you're younger or even if you're older, realizing how much they've sacrificed, how much they've done for you, that is such a beneficial thing to do, something to think about to improve that relationship, which those two should be two of the most important relationships you have in your life, for the simple fact that, like I said, all they've done for you, and then giving back to them when you're older. So I wanted to get that message out there because it's definitely something when you're young you don't think about, because you're all about you, more or less, because you're figuring yourself out, who you want to be, how you want to live, all the pressures society and things society throws at you of getting your act together, finding a job, finding a girlfriend or boyfriend, finding a house, all of these things. But yeah, appreciating what your parents have done for you, appreciation in general, which is something I will break down in other videos, doing a more general overall what I have to appreciate, which is also such a great process. But yeah, focusing on your parents and seeing that raw emotion, that's why I wanted to make it public. I was hesitating for a bit because it's really not something that I need to make public. It's for two people in general, especially because it's my mom's birthday here, and I wanted to do something really special because buying her things right now, I know what she really needs, and that would be a nice vacation because she works so hard, but I don't have the money for that right now. So it's something more genuine other than just some little gift or something to eat. So that's why I wanted to do it and then make it public, because I want you guys to see it. I want lots of people to see it, because we've gotten away from this, and our relationships in general, I think since things are so fast-paced in the modern day, they get tarnished a lot, or things get suppressed and not dealt with and then explode into some huge fight, when if you make more time and actually realize that you don't have it as bad as you think, and that argument that you had, in the grand scheme of things, the good outweighs the bad. Or looking back and realizing, wow, this actually isn't good. So either realizing that you have so much to appreciate, or that things are bad for a reason, and what is that reason in a relationship? That's why I wanted to make this video for you guys. That's my message here. And then from the outside perspective of, I also thought, should I release this in this day and age where employers will be looking at so many different elements of the social media you post? And it just comes down to, I want companies that are genuine and appreciate genuine people, and I'm trying to be one of those people, and don't want to filter myself too much, because I believe we do that too much. You have Instagram filters, you pick what you want to post, you pick what you want people to see about you, but no. As you saw, part of my emotion, it wasn't just about the joy and the realization of how good I have it, it was also because of regret, of things I've done, things I do with my parents. And I want that to be out there, because we get marketed a very unrealistic image of humans a lot, or we just focus on the good things instead of realizing that we are all flawed, and accepting that is key to becoming better. We'll never be perfect, but becoming better. So yeah, that's my message. appreciate your parents. Like, holy crap, they do so much. Appreciate in general, to just appreciate for that sake of realizing what you have, but also it'll help you realize what you don't and what you need to work on. And with that being said, I've got nothing else to say. This is the longest video I've ever done. Thank you if you watched all of it. If you didn't, I understand. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll muse with you soon, guys.